Hello, hello, hello. This is L Army. Welcome to Hippie in the City. I'm joined today by Kara, Ladd and Alyssa Brieloff. Together they are a dynamic duo that run Boundless Creatives. After a successful battle with cancer, Kara realized she was on the wrong career path. In her recovery, she found hope and healing through Reiki and other spiritual modalities. So she decided to create Boundless Creatives, a way to nourish her soul and put her business acumen to excellent use. Along the way, she met her work wife, Alyssa, at an event in New York City. And from there, Boundless Creatives really took off. Boundless Creatives is a boutique marketing consultancy that helps people on their path to self-discovery. Through coaching and spiritual development, they help you find yourself and a strategy that works for you so that you can build a purpose-driven brand. They've just come out with Soulbound, a 4-week online course to help you become the best version of yourself. Alyssa is a Virgo and Kara is a Cancer. They both share the North Node of Sagittarius in their charts, and we talked all about human design, astrology, the spiritual elements, and how to bring them into your daily life so that you can live a more purpose-driven life. Please love Kara and Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Kara. Welcome to Hippie in the City,
Hi.
virtual.
Hello,
Thank
hello.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you guys and get to know you. I've met Alyssa many times, but just very quickly. So we haven't gotten really a chance to do like a deep dive conversation, but I feel like we've been like fans of each other from afar for a little bit. So I'm really excited to meet her business wife, your business other half.
It's
Work
funny
wife.
because when I actually met you, Elle, it was at Energy, and Kara actually met me there. So
I did meet Kara for like a second.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I think I remember this.
And I was showing
like in total
Kara the
passing.
podcast situation, and you were actually recording an episode there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm putting the puzzle pieces together.
So,
My
like,
mind is
Full
blown.
circle moment.
Yeah. We were all meant to be here.
That's amazing. So that's really funny. I was actually going to ask you if it was Kara that was there with you, because Josh just introduced us like really briefly because I was meeting a guest there to do a podcast. So like I was in the mode of like going, and I think it was like my second episode I was taping. So it was like it was brand new when I met you.
Right. It was.
Yeah.
I totally remember this. Wow. I love
That's
that.
crazy.
It was a great space. I miss doing New York things, but I'm glad we were able to connect virtually.
I know. Well, it's changed the nature of everything, really, which I know is like a good thing. Especially I follow astrology and study it very deeply. I'm sure that you guys do as well.
Yeah.
So I know that the change up is good, and it's like leading us into like a new age and a new future that really is good and helpful. But like with any transition, it's like scary and feels uncomfortable, and you just like miss all the old stuff. Like part of the podcast was to really connect with people on like a really deep soul level. And for me, a lot of that has to do with like feeling people's energy in person and getting to, kind of invite them into this space that I created with flowers and plants and tea and like this whole thing, this like Zen den that I kind of had at Energy Studios. So switching that up has been like a new process for me because I miss that. I mean, that was like such a big piece of it. So I'm having to find new ways to create that virtually, but keeping it going is still equally as important.
It probably creates. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
I was going to say we have adjusted as well with everything going on. Like we were so in the industry of, going to events and running around and meeting people. So for a long time during COVID, we had to adjust what our community looked like. And that's kind of where we built our coaching and our first online course. So that has all changed for us and it's been amazing, but definitely different.
Yeah, I think it's just forcing everyone to grow, and it's either, it's however you take it is what it's meant to be. And I think if you can make it something beautiful and then have these kind of like online courses that are not going anywhere for when things do open up, then you've just built out another section of your business that maybe you had later down the line that was kind of like a later goal, but you just moved it forward. And so it's like, ultimately it's really good. I just think, the more stuff we can do like this to feed that kind of extroverted connection portion is good, because that's definitely what I'm missing in a lot of my work. And I have not come out with a really amazing online course to connect with people. So I'm trying to keep it going with this to feed my soul, and then hopefully people that are listening too.
Totally. And we resonate deeply with the astrology aspect because we really focus our business around the moons and what's going on planetarily. So
I love that. So Kara, you are the founder, owner of Boundless Creatives, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And then can you tell us a little bit about how Boundless Creatives came to be, what your inspiration was, a little bit about your story, and then I want to hear about your meet cute with Alyssa.
Our kismet connection. Yeah. So I have a background in sustainable fashion consulting. So working with purpose-driven brands has always been interwoven within my personal work and my professional work, and has really become a passion of mine. But I had so many internships before that in the editorial industry. And so after working in sustainable fashion for a couple of years, I got the editorial bug and I went back to Hearst, and I was an e-commerce editor for them, all 28 of their publications, in addition to their partnerships editor. So I really was building out a new vertical for them. And throughout that time, I knew that was a stepping stone position, but I really thought that I was going to be at Hearst or in fashion for like the rest of my life. Like I really felt like I had found my calling. But obviously in retrospect, I was so wrong, and I was really siloing myself to this career that I had like manifested when I was a tween. But it wasn't until I really awakened, quote unquote, until I was diagnosed with a 1 in a million cancer called synovial sarcoma. I was diagnosed in December 2016. And I mean, obviously it turned my world upside down. I, like Alyssa was saying before, was living this rat race lifestyle. I was running from event to event, and I was burning the candle at both ends. I was living in meatpacking, like in between One Oak and Avenue, above Artichoke Pizza on 17th and 10th. Everyone knows that corner. And I was working in fashion, and I was just not taking care of my body. Like I was eating really late, and I was just so stressed, and I didn't have what we call now like an unbound, which is a part of the boundless method. I didn't have a release. So I was compartmentalizing all of this dense energy into my body that really manifested into disease. And so I went through this tumultuous treatment, like 5 rounds of chemotherapy, 36 rounds of radiation, lost my hair, and it really peeled back these layers, this facade that I had created. Like I realized I didn't really know me. And I started to dabble into spirituality. It was recommended to me that I should try Reiki and, go to these wellness centers. And I was so not in that world or well-versed in, like, I wasn't religious. I wasn't atheist. I believed there was a higher power, but I was just like, I don't really have time for this. I feel like it's not as like mentally stimulating, I guess. I just like push it off to the side. And I was like, no, like just so headstrong for like fashion and business. And yeah, I had my first Reiki session and had some out of this world visualizations that I haven't had as visual of like a visualizations, or as potent of visualizations as that first time. But it really, that one session at Ash Wellness Center was really like just this like catalyst, and it just like awakened my spirituality and my curiosity. I had this insatiable curiosity for the wellness and spiritual world. And so started to get into crystals and meditation and listen to more spiritual podcasts. And I ended up going back to work at Hearst as an e-commerce editor and partnerships editor in this new sense of self, and felt right away that I was in the wrong place. Like I literally was having physical pain in my body, that I was just not in the right place. And I knew that, and I still knew it was a stepping stone. And I knew I was going to go off on my own, but it was just a matter of time. And I ended up going off on my own and launching my own consultancy in July 2018. And I really just started freelancing and doing copywriting and kind of using the skill set that I had, or the tools in my toolbox that I had, but really started to broaden my skill set and experience these different, working with different clients and brand partners in different ways outside of the corporate silo. That was Hearst and sustainable fashion consulting. And yeah, I continued to build. And in October, it's like a couple days past Alyssa and I's 1-year anniversary, actually.
Happy anniversary.
Excuse me. Thank you. But we met on, October 11th of last year, just really kismetly at a Sunday Studio ambassador event. We are both ambassadors for Sundays, which is a beautiful, stunning, non-toxic nail studio.
Oh, yes.
They have like meditation
Sundays.
manicures. Yeah, It's fantastic. And it's funny because when we both speak about that meeting, we both were like, didn't know if we were going to go. It was like one of those circumstances where we were like, oh, it's so far. Like we have so much to do. We were both consulting. And for me, I'm not as much in the influencer realm. Like I definitely create content. It's one of my passions, giving my editorial background, but it's not something that I have really like owned as a part of my identity until recently. And so I felt like a little out of place, honestly. And I tend to feel that way at these ambassador events. And Alyssa was just like this social butterfly all around, like knew everyone. And so I was getting my nails done. And I think you were the one who approached me. I knew you. I recognized you because, all right, I actually don't know if I recognized you, but I had Instagram messaged her months before, which I actually don't do. Alyssa knows I'm like the worst engager. I get yelled at because I don't engage. But I randomly messaged you months ago being like, I really love your feed. I think because she just stood out to me. And yeah, we ended up chatting about our nails and realizing that we both were just more than content creators. We both were strategic business consultants for not only just brands, but purpose-driven brands, and brands that were primarily in the wellness industry, the spiritual world. And we had so many undeniable overlapping synergies that it was just such an instant connection that we knew something was there. And I think it was that week we went and got matcha at Matchaful, which is one of our other favorite spaces in the city. It's like ceremonial, potent, pure matcha. It's the best matcha bar in our opinion. And then went to Hugh Kitchen after that, RIP. And we just started to, slowly plant the seeds for what Boundless Creatives is today. And, since then, it's been a beautiful evolution. I mean, we really had this vision when we first met to build out this agency that was actually grounded in remote virtual consulting. Like all of our consultants were working virtual and remote. And we were kind of building out this virtual remote agency, full service. And with personal circumstances that happened on my end earlier this year, a bad, or not a bad breakup, but just a big breakup of my ex of like 7 years really like threw me for a loop. And then just different circumstances really propelled us on this new path to work more one-on-one with our consultants and to build out more of this conscious community and these passive income streams and work harder, work smarter, not harder. And I feel like over the past year, we've really embodied the work that we've been talking about for so long. And that's really unearthing our purpose and living our purpose and speaking our truth. So it's been a beautiful evolution. I honestly, if you would have asked me a couple years ago that Boundless Creatives would be kind of this conscious consulting duo and spiritual leader that's really forging the path for this new age way of working and just living your life, I would have laughed because I really was still, even though I went through that traumatic time that brought so much light into my life and I was getting into spirituality, I didn't think that was going to be, I was able to make that a career.
Yeah. And like put the two together, like the crossroads of your spirituality and your kind of enlightenment with business. I mean, I still find that to be one of the most difficult things with my brand in my brain. It's me, right? It's not the brand that's having a problem with it. But when I'm sometimes like wearing my business hat, I'm like really struggling to integrate that with my like spiritual wellness being, which is really at the core of who I am. That is something that's been like ingrained in me since as long as I can remember. So the putting the business hat on and learning a lot of those skills is still feels like training wheels to me. So it feels like two separate things. And I think that's really powerful that you are talking about integrating that and how sort of seamless that has been in creating Boundless Creatives, because it is this kind of like destiny kind of kismet thing. So you're not having to like, I don't know, force it as much maybe because you're just sort of allowing it to unfold as if it's its own entity kind of.
Totally. Yeah. And we're really all about bridging your personal well-being with professional abundance. And so we still do strategic consulting, but Alyssa and I are fantastic balance because I really have this strategic business marketing mindset, and Alyssa does as well. But she can speak more to this. She was Reiki certified when she was like 8. So she has such a strong spiritual foundation, and I'm still new. I mean, I've been in it for a few years and I'm still learning and growing, as we all are. We're all beginners each and every day, but we've really been able to balance each other's skill sets and still, build out a consulting agency model just on a smaller scale. And it's infused with so much intention and mindfulness and spirituality. Like we do brand therapy where we do, introspective Q&A with like Reiki and meditation, and our one-on-one coaching is like has this spiritual tie to self-discovery, because that's at the core of finding your purpose, and that overlaps both, and that transcends into the professional realm. Everything's interconnected. So it's been, again, like such a beautiful evolution, and yes to like flowing with what's in front of you. That's something that we've really leaned into a lot this year. Like, okay, consulting doesn't feel right now energetically. It does not feel in alignment right now because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, so we feel so called to build this course, which we actually manifested very early when we first met, like 2 or 3 months into our meeting. We like built an outline of this course. And so we really like planted the manifestation seeds for that so early on. And now it was just a matter of time, so it's been awesome.
I love it. It's like, I think helping people to find their, like you said, the self-discovery aspect is so important, because not only is it helping people first and foremost, like separate from a brand, you're helping a person who then can, fish for himself, teaching man to fish, so to speak, or a woman. And also, you're creating this really invaluable connection with your clients that's like fulfilling to you and to them, and really creates like a kind of synergy, like you were just talking about. Alyssa, I want to hear about your journey leading up to meeting Kara, and how that was love at first sight for you and joining the Boundless Creatives.
Pure love.
I wrote down on my notes here, I literally wrote, when you two met, was it love at first sight? So I just feel like I feel that from you two.
Yeah, I mean, so when I met Kara, she didn't mention this. She was wearing this like hat that was just like, she didn't look like she belonged there. So I think she was from LA. And I'm just like, I don't know, it drew my attention. Just like, who is this girl? I've never seen her. And like Kara said, I knew the ambassadors at the event. I knew that, the influencers in this world that I've been a part of. And she just intrigued me. So I kind of just went up to her and was like, I really like your nails. And I took a photo of her nail polish. And I still have that photo on my phone, which is how we pieced together that we met on October 11th. But no, it was just, I meet so many people in New York, and I have a ton of amazing friends from Instagram that I just love. And, we're really amazing. We have really great connections, and it's awesome. But I've never had this kind of experience with anyone like I had with Kara, where I felt like it was actually a business relationship and it was going to go somewhere. Like I remember calling my mom after we met and saying, like, I have a really good feeling about this girl. Like I just really see it's going somewhere. And going back to the self-discovery, I'm a human design, I'm a reflector. We don't have to get too deep into it, but I'm the most rare type.
No. We're going to get deep into it, Alyssa.
This is what we're here for.
I look at my notes, because I believe that we're all Virgos. Is that true?
I'm a Virgo. Kara is not.
I'm actually a Cancer, but I have a Capricorn. Yeah, I have a Capricorn moon and Aries rising. Makes so much sense.
Okay, then I read one of your Instagram posts wrong, because I thought you said that you both were Virgos. I know you're a Virgo, Alyssa, but anyway, we're definitely talking about human design and astrology here. But anyway, reflector, continue.
So yeah, it's the most rare type. It's only 1%, and it's really being a non-energy being. Both Kara and I are both non-energy types in human design. So she's a projector, and we work really well together with that. But because I'm a reflector, I don't really have anyone guiding me, and I tend to be a mirror. So for years, people would approach me and be like, let's do this together. Let's do this. And every idea was like, yes, this sounds so great. I want to do this. And then I would realize later that I didn't actually want to do it. And I was just kind of people pleasing. And this is also the Virgo in me. But, until I really got to know myself more, I realized what actually was a really good yes for me versus, what was a no, what wasn't right for me, what I needed to like release. And with Kara, it just really felt natural. Like it was the first time someone approached me with something and it felt like a hell yes. And so previously, before meeting her, I was in the consulting world as well. And I was really managing a ton of clients, doing social media, which even for one brand, it's a lot, but for 10 at once, it was time consuming and draining and not really fulfilling. But I previously was in, corporate. So being my own boss felt exhilarating. It felt like freedom. So I didn't want to take for granted the fact that I had all these clients. So I kind of kept them on, and I had to be appreciative and grateful for the fact that I had this income. And I was doing more I was making more money than I was in corporate. So I kind of just kept this going, and it was an unhealthy relationship with my clients of I was constantly online. I could not disconnect from them. But at the same time, I was in my mind, I was like, I can never go back to corporate because as a reflector, I'm not supposed to be doing the same thing every day. I loved the fluidity. I loved that I could work on a client and then go meet my friends for a workout. I loved the flexibility. That's, as a reflector, my energy type craved. So I knew that I was in alignment, at least with that. But I knew I wasn't in alignment with how much work I was really doing. Um, so, I would say with Kara, it was just great because I finally found someone who was doing something similar to me, and we could talk about our struggles together. And we could just work in this way that we were like doing a dance. Like, she completed parts of work that I didn't really have experience in, and I did things that she didn't really have experience in. But I would say I always have been spiritual. I just kind of I was like a spiritual closet. Like, I hid it a little bit, for the fear of, being judged and people just like viewing me as, I guess, weird, because it is kind of interesting. It's different. But it all began when my grandmother, actually, who I call my Bobby, Jewish grandmother, introduced me to Reiki when Kara said I was 8 years old. And I love telling this story because obviously I was not like ready for this. And it's not something I really stuck with at that age, but it started this spiritual journey for me without me even realizing how it could affect my entire life. So this one class of getting Reiki certified and not really knowing what to do with it evolved into using modalities that were going to help me throughout key moments. So throughout my parents' divorce and just personal things I went through, I always came back to going inward and came back to these things that I learned from my grandmother of, crystals and believing in something. So even if it wasn't doing anything, just the belief of something made me feel good. And so I always have, been into crystals, and the Reiki evolved from there into, I would say, a spiritual awakening. When my grandfather passed, I started getting just like weird pings, and my third eye would just go crazy. And I started going into like this more spiritual world, post college, right into graduation, right into starting this life in New York and really getting into the work world. I started to be like, how can I actually still support this belief that I have, while staying grounded and being part of, Earth, and being quote unquote normal with my friends, because I still had a social life and I wanted to not have those separate. I wanted it to be kind of like this well-rounded, holistic approach to both. You can have both. So, I started going to more things, like getting more Reiki done throughout college. I would say that was a big point in my life where I was going to therapy a lot, and I was blending that with Reiki. So they would do a lot of chakra meditation on me, and that's where chakras came into my life. And again, I've stuck with that ever since. I think visualizations are really key for me. So things like chakra Reiki and, just different modalities that I could actually relate to made me feel really great. So once I got into New York, I was like, oh my God, it's like heaven. I can go to all these places and I can do all these things that like weren't a thing in my small town, right? Like I could go and get this like weird rainbow chakra light situation on my body. I could go into salt caves, and it was just normal. So it started opening this like world of spiritual awakening and doing things that just like lit me up and my soul up. But meeting Kara, I feel like I was able to have somebody that I could actually vibe with and who understood, like, even though she wasn't as spiritual as I think my upbringing was, she still like understood, I think, just from her background with cancer, this like deeper, like life is so much deeper than what meets the eye, and self-awareness is so key. And that's why our course really was like, even for myself, like amazing to help other people see how important self-discovery is, because it's like the first step in this journey that's evolving and you're continuously on it. It's non-linear, but when you get to know yourself on a soul level and actually see what you want and what's right for you, just things start to line up for you and you become more aligned with that purpose every day.
I love that. Oh my gosh. It's like, You guys are saying all the right words right now. Just making me feel so inspired.
It's probably because the moon is in Virgo. So like I'm vibing with my own
Oh,
sign right now, you know?
We love watching the moon every single day. We align like all of our launches and like key business meetings with the energy of the moon. We launched a moon calendar as well. And
oh,
it's just like, yeah, we love astrology and it's all interconnected. We're all energetic beings.
it's so true. I mean, so I love, Alyssa, what you said about coming to this city and feeling like it was this like almost like spiritual wellness playground that had all these modalities accessible to you. And I think that's something I really want listeners to kind of hear, because for me, my kind of I don't know, spiritual growth really happened in California, which makes sense. It totally like aligns with the vibe and this whole like thing. So when I moved to New York, I actually was feeling a little bit of the opposite, where I was like feeling scared and nervous and just missing, really just missing a lot of these very accessible wellness modalities, spiritual modalities, and then just conversations with people. Like truly the openness of talking about Reiki, chakras, spirituality, astrology, anything. I mean, everyone knows almost their full chart out there. Like it's not just like, oh, what's my sun sign? What does it mean? It's like, what's your moon sign? What's your rising? Oh my gosh, your Mars is in this. No wonder you're doing that. Like, and that was really exciting to me. So when I came to New York, I felt a little bit of the opposite, which is one of the reasons I started Hippie in the City. Was I was like, I need to bring this or help light it on fire, because I feel people need it more than ever there, which is why I was so excited to be introduced to energy. And then when I kind of got into this wellness world in New York, I was really happy to see that there is like a very large community. The thing I think that you guys are doing that's really powerful is helping some of those people to integrate more of the self-discovery and the spirituality into their business, because at the end of the day, it really is such a business hub, and it always will be. And for me, I think with the podcast, really talking to people about this stuff, but from a like spirituality center. Like I didn't know how to talk to them about it in the context of their own self-discovery and their own like brand building, business, life, all that stuff. It was almost like a therapy session, I guess, instead of like, what did you call it, Kara? Brand therapy?
Yeah, brand therapy that we do with clients.
And I think that is so powerful to me, because it really is something that I think people everywhere need it, but I really think especially in New York City. And then I just love, Alyssa, that you were like, that you saw it as this like place that had everything accessible to it, because it was a little bit different than my story. So that's like a really beautiful thing that I just am
from
like,
the suburbs, it was like there was so many things at my fingertips, but at the same time, it did feel overwhelming. There's so much energy in New York, as you know. Like it, as a reflector, it was a lot for me to handle. And I'm actually not in the city anymore, but I'm close to it. But you know, I think it's also important to note, like, you don't have to be in a large city. You don't have to have all these resources. Like we have the tools within, and that's what we're trying to like teach our community to really tap into their own tools. But going back to what you said about business, like, yeah, it really does play such a role, because when you're not in alignment with yourself, like everything is just out of alignment, your business, your relationships, and, you know, the universe will give you these signs, and it's either like you're going to listen with your gut and go with your gut, or it's going to keep doing things until you stop and you have to like change your whole life. Like for me, it was, I was working corporate and I hated work. I never felt like I was supposed to be doing that work, and I didn't listen to it. And then finally I took a leap at a company that felt like kind of the anti-corporate, and I was so excited about this new role. And then that didn't feel right. And I didn't listen to that. And then I got fired. And so I think it's always like testing you. It's always seeing like how much can we give you until you're actually going to listen to what you need to listen to. Because it wasn't until my mom made a comment to me, like, you know, I was looking for jobs. I was transitioning. Look, I just moved in with my boyfriend at the time, now fiance, and I didn't have any money. I lost a job and like didn't have a plan. Like nothing was lined up. It was holiday time. No one's hiring then. And I was looking for full-time work, and my mom said, you know, you don't actually want this, so you're not going to get it. And I was like, you're right. And I couldn't admit that to her, because like as like, you know, someone's kid, like you don't want to say to your parent, I don't want to work a full job, like a full-time job. That's not something I was raised to ever think. And so for me to actually face that and deal with like, wow, like I actually want to be rebellious. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's okay. But like, where do I go from here? It shifted everything. Like my energy changed once I acknowledged that this isn't what I was supposed to be doing. And within literally, after looking for work for 3 months, within a week of this, I got 4 clients. And then from there, it built into 2 years of working for myself. And although I've changed so much, and I've, you know, let go of clients, and I've lost clients, and I figured out what I don't like, it's taken time. Like I didn't just get to this moment, and I'm still going through it. We're still growing every day, Kara and I. But the more I listen to myself and get quiet is when I can actually find the path on where I'm supposed to be going next.
I think that's the most powerful thing you can do, you know, to look within and really just, it's funny when people say sort of like listen, because I think when I've talked to, I talk to my sister a lot about this stuff and sort of work with her. She's a doctor and an Aquarius, so she needs like quite a lot of the kind of, I don't know, woo-woo
I'm an
stuff.
Aquarius,
otherworldly
moon, so I feel that.
I'm Aquarius rising.
Oh my gosh. What's your moon?
Okay.
What's your moon?
So I'm Virgo sun, Taurus moon, Aquarius rising.
Ooh,
so I'm a thinker.
Ooh, that's a beautiful combination though. I love that.
I just need to always remind myself to lead from my heart, because my head just gets so, she's got a lot of good ideas, but she just can't shut up, you know?
Something that's so interesting that Alyssa and I realized this past year, we worked very closely with Moon Lady Astrology, Mallorin, who is an astrologist / Akashic record reader / tarot reader. She really has this beautiful synthesis of so many different modalities in her sessions, and we work very closely with her. And I did this reading with her, and we realized that my whole chart shifted halfway. It's a progression. So if you're deep in astrology, you know that your chart and your signs can actually change in your lifetime, but it's actually rare that it changes in the middle of your lifetime. And my chart shifted to where Alyssa's is. So my North Node and South Node are actually fully aligned with Alyssa's now. We're both Sagittarius North Nodes. And yeah, we completely, yep. Oh my gosh, what? Yeah, we're both completely like North Nodes and Sagittarius. And yeah, so it really aligns with, we do these Wellbound reviews and like traveling all over the world and reviewing these wellness centers. So it's been mind-blowing that we actually are aligned on a soul energetic level, which I feel like we know. Like I feel like Alyssa and I have had past lives together for sure.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my God. I can't tell you like how refreshing it is to just be able to like use this language and just talk so freely about like past lives and all of this other stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I spend a lot of time reading about it, talking about it, thinking about it. My husband is actually like very interested in this kind of stuff too, but he's interested in it kind of as a beginner, kind of as like a more on an intellectual plane, which is beautiful and wonderful. And I never thought I could like share that with a romantic partner or something. I just thought like, oh, this is my like weird little spiritual, like you were saying, Alyssa, like you're like in a spiritual closet kind of, you're like, I'll just like go in the closet, light my candles and my sage with my crystals and like be like a weird little witch woman. And then I'll come out and be like a human for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I'm very happy that I can share this with him, but there's just nothing like sharing it with women who practice it, and it just like fills my soul in a way that very little else does.
I love that.
So I in doing my research, Virgo, I saw that you said that you both were Sagittarius North nodes. So I don't know if you know the book Astrology for the Soul.
No, I don't, but
actually.
I need to.
Oh,
I know I'm writing it down now.
you need to. So it's like a Bible. It's like very thick. So this woman, Jan Speller, wrote it. She has since passed away, but she wrote it. I think she wrote it in like the 80s. So so it's literally just a Bible about North nodes. It's all it is, just nodes. And so I read that you said you both were North Node Sagittarius. And so I was reading that chapter this morning. And actually, and the way she writes it is it's really informative. It's broken down in such like a wonderful way. She kind of does like an overview of attributes and tendencies to leave behind that are like bullet points. And then it goes into, talents and professions, personality. And then it also talks about past lives. Like it really gets into how past lives are interwoven into your current astrology. So like your body, your human body in this lifetime has its birth chart, right? But your soul is kind of on this like slingshot journey through space. And that's really aligned with your North node. So like your nodes, she says, are probably at least in a similar direction throughout your soul's journey, which I find really interesting. And so actually under talents and profession in North Node and Sagittarius, one of the things I underlined for you two was that it says, any way that these people can be involved in distributing ideas on a mass level or promoting a cause that they believe in is where they should be headed.
I wrote full body goosebumps.
And I wrote Soulbound.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. And that's like resonates with what our astrologist said when we went together for like a business reading. And she thought we knew each other for like years. And it's only been 2 months at that point when we went. And it was just like to hear that we're like on the right path and we're doing what we're supposed to was just so nice. I don't know.
And that aligns so much with the mission that I created from the very beginning, from the grassroots of when I started Boundless Creatives and before I even met Alyssa, was to bring modern mindfulness to the masses.
Okay, so I'm making this podcast on anchor.fm because A, it's free. B, it lets you edit everything in the app on the website. So if I'm on the go, I can literally pull up the app, move around segments, listen to how the order sounds, add music. I can even add different pictures for each episode. And then when I'm done, oh my gosh, it uploads to Spotify, Apple, Google, 5 or 6 others, all for me. So I don't have to do it. It's literally amazing. Download the app or go to anchor.fm to start your podcast now because we need more podcasts out there. We need more storytellers. Oh, and another cool thing is that you can get paid from sponsorships, and it helps me so that I can be able to go out there and find amazing guests to connect and talk to that you guys can listen to. So download the app or go to anchor.fm right now.
Because I really just wanted to help these purpose-driven brands bring boundless impact to people, to the planet, to the universe. Because as you were saying, like we all hold, there's so many different layers of your soul. This is actually a big part of our Soulbound work in our 4-week course. It's like, this is the unblock and unpack, because we hold so much energy from past lives that we don't even realize are still compartmentalized in your body. And so to like lean into that shadow and that darkness in order to catapult you into the light is like so profound. And I mean, that's just on like a self-discovery level, but like from a professional level, yeah, like in our career to like be sharing ideas and to bring this new age knowledge to the masses is a huge part of our mission. So that resonates.
Oh my gosh, it's one of my not struggles, but one of the things that frustrates me the most about doing these virtual podcasts is that I have to be very quiet because of the recording over each other. And when you're talking, I want to be like, preach, yes. Like it's like, so I have a lot of energy happening inside of my body. So I am, just to bring it full circle here, I'm a North Node in Aquarius. So really have a lot of that Aquarian energy happening. And so I'm like very, very much wanting to build a conscious brand, wanting to a purpose-driven brand, all the things you're talking about. That's something very important to me. But I also want to reach a lot of people. And one of the guests that I had on maybe like 3 months ago is a psychic medium, Ainsley McLeod, who also does a lot of work with your soul's age, your soul's destiny, and past life regression. She's very focused on your soul. And so we did like a mini reading during the podcast taping. And he said that one of my main soul missions was to reach a lot of people and to help heal a lot of people on a soul level, because I had this past life trauma and I went inward and I didn't tell anyone. And then I ended up like getting a disease from that energy and dying. So it's like I have to speak out loud and talk about this work. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, oh my God. Like, you know, when you just feel something on another level that you're like, I couldn't even have put that into words. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing, or why, you know, I had all these, of course, very digestible reasons that I started the podcast, and I wanted to connect with people and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when he said that, I was like, I really got full chills, and I almost I relaxed. There was like a tension in me that like visibly relaxed, and it's really propelled me into a lot of research on past lives, and it just makes so much sense to me. And what you guys were saying about having been in a past life together, or just feeling like that connection is just deeper than this lifetime. I love when I can find that in someone. And the funniest part is when at least the two of you kind of could recognize it and speak about it. My best friend, Michaela, I know we've had lifetimes together, but when we first met, I knew that in her. I saw her and I was like, that's my girl. Wow. Mm-hmm. Like, and we were adults, you know, which is different than making friends. Like, just like you guys, making friends as an adult is just a little different, because, you know, you can't just be like, hey, I'm obsessed with you. And they're like, yo, I just met you. But I did that. I basically did that to her. And she has this hilarious story, which to me, it was kismet. It was this, wow, we're reuniting. And so I just had this beautiful memory of us meeting. And she was telling it one time and she was like, yeah, Ellen kind of like, I don't know, she kind of came up to me and like got my phone number and then she kind of wouldn't leave me alone. And now I'm obsessed with her. And I was like, wait a minute. That is not how I remember this at all. So it's just really refreshing to be able to talk to people that really understand or believe in and are doing a lot of work with past lives and your soul's journey as opposed to your lifetime, your body's journey.
I feel like people are craving it. They just don't, it's overwhelming, the industry, the spaces. And that's what we tried to do. Soulbound was really grounded. Like the woo can get a lot, it can be a lot. And we try to ground it in having, we're human beings having a spiritual experience. So like, I find that like people just, they want deeper connections. They want to know more about themselves. They want to live in alignment. They want to heal wounds, but they just don't know how or where to begin. And it's all about just beginning, not being perfect. And as a Virgo, you probably get this. It's like, I felt like it had to look perfect, it had to look a certain way. But as soon as I like peeled back the layers and just like let it be what it was, that's when I actually went to more of a aligned spiritual purpose. So I think it's just about beginning.
I think that's a perfect segue into what Soulbound is, how people can access it, like the pricing, everything. I want to know absolutely everything so people can get to it. They can start doing the work. They can be connected with you guys. And because I think what you guys are doing is so important. And I really want people to know that. We have to shout it from the rooftops. Kara?
So,
Alyssa?
do you want me?
Whoever?
Go ahead. Oh, okay. So, like Kara said, we manifested Soulbound when we first had really met. So it looks a little bit different now, but what we were trying to do then has really stayed the same, was all about using these tools inside that we have to really harness our own spiritual path and our self finding, our purpose and really discovering more about us. So Soulbound is a 4-week spiritual self-discovery course for beginners, but really anybody. Like Kara and I took the course with our community, and it's constantly, we are constantly doing the work. So just because we have gone through shadow work and we have, had these enlightened moments doesn't mean that we still aren't dealing with things now, that we have to keep going back and being like, oh, where did that belief come from? How can I reverse that or reprogram that thought that isn't mine? So, the course is really helping people to get on this spiritual journey and to understand more about themselves so that they can be more in alignment with their purpose. They can have more clarity and find more conscious connection. Because again, like we felt like this was lacking a little bit. We felt like the spiritual world was really overwhelming and a little bit bypassing and not really always looking at, like, there's toxic positivity, not always looking at the shadow side of things. So that's really important for us, is like really doing the unblocking, really doing the work. So we use the Boundless method, which is our 4-part process of going inbound, which is all about going inward, and just being present with yourself. Unblocking, unbound, which is all about unblocking and really understanding like where our beliefs came from, what we're holding on to still. Rebound, which is all about reprogramming and using daily rituals that are within us to help us to be more in alignment. And then boundless, obviously, which is this end goal, which we're constantly on, of being this abundant, limitless being. So our 4-part method we use in our coaching, but we also incorporate it into every week of our 4-week course. And so we just finished 2 days ago our first pilot round, and it was incredible to see the women that came, because like we said, these were women who were in the business world who we didn't even think we would be attracting. We thought we would be attracting people who were more into spirituality, right? Like, so when we had these women who were deep in their careers and looking for more purpose, it was incredible to see the connection between the two. And I can let Kara speak more about that. But for me, I just feel like I'm on my right path now. And like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, is to help others find their own purpose and just help people begin to help people find the tools within them so that they can, you know, do the work on their own. So we also we had bonus healers that came in, because for us, it's important to utilize people that we don't have, you know, we're not certified astrologists and we don't claim to be these certified, you know, people with, when it comes to those modalities, there's so many, we can't do it all. So we really wanted to tap into our community of healers. And that was, you know, we provided all of our community with a blueprint, a boundless blueprint, which was their birth chart. So their rising, their moon, their sun sign, and then their human design. And so they understood their type. And so just knowing a little bit about themselves so that they could take that throughout the course, I felt like was really helpful for us. And to know what type of energies we were working with. And then we worked with, you know, astrologists to really help them understand more about their North and South node in their past lives a little bit. We worked with human design to understand their energy type and how they, you know, if they're a manifestor, like non-specific versus specific manifestors. And then we worked with a woman to really help us embody the work through movement and manifesting it through a movement and removing limiting beliefs versus just like this mindset of, oh, I'm abundant, or, you know, these affirmations. Like, it's not just about the affirmations, it's about also like embodiment. And so that was really important for us.
Yeah, so it's been an incredible journey, and we were shook by the engagement too, just from the founding kind of members cohort of Soulbound. And like Alyssa was saying, we were so surprised that these women that were on the spiritual sidelines, if you will, in powerhouse careers and PR, head of sales, who were just craving this self-discovery, this community, this connection, this deeper connection to themselves that would help them embody more fulfillment, more confidence in every aspect of their life, both personally and professionally. And so we created this course with wholehearted, utmost intention. The deep dive, discover, and download is the first week. So it's really about just beginning, like Alyssa was saying, and deepening your connection with yourself to source in the collective and your community. Then unblock and unpack is the second week. So really leaning into that shadow work, conscious connection and clarity, connecting to that higher power and believing it. And then embody and expand, which is really about believing on a deep soul level that your manifestations are possible in order to expand into this boundless being. And being boundless, your souls are boundless, right? We are in this finite human body, this vehicle for ascension, but our souls are boundless. We have the ability to channel boundless power and energy from above. And so that's what really being boundless is all about, and being on this perpetual, ever evolving journey of self-discovery. There is no end point. There's no Vegas sign to self-discovery. There's no end goal to enlightenment. That's what being boundless is. We're all consistently growing and learning together on a personal level and professional level. And on that note, Soulbound is just the beginning. This is really our first course to spiritual self-discovery, and we're really going to grow upon this foundation. And our next course or offering, you know, is really going to build on this more in the professional realm. And how can we take this foundation of personal self-discovery and bridge it into the professional world and really build an impact brand, which is what's coming next, in addition to a ton of other offerings that we're really excited about. But to answer your question in regards to the pricing, of course, we were so intentional with our pricing as well. All of our prices are angel numbers, whether you're doing strategic business consulting or coaching or the Soulbound course. The Soulbound course for our pilot was $444, which is all about, you know, just beginning. You're on the right path, this affirmative number that you're planting the seeds for deeper manifestations. and just to keep trusting that path. So it's 444, and it's actually going to be, so like Alyssa said, we just ended our first cohort, but it's going to be available passively, fully passive, and you have annual access. So you have 365-day access to this course. It can be completely self-paced, but we have a syllabus to keep you on track as well. And yeah, we're just so thrilled that we are finally able to share this work with everyone. Again, we've been manifesting this for so long, and we're excited to continue to build out this conscious community and build out our own impact as well.
And also, we've had our Soulbounders reach out to us saying, like, what's next? Like, what can I learn next? And it's once you dip your toes, you know, your feet into this spiritual world, you want to taste, and you like, I want the whole buffet, like, give me all the things. So we didn't want to overwhelm them. And that's why it's very like intro, but also like more about yourself and tools within. But then we want to, again, like bring this more professionally for phase 2. But I really used my Reiki certification and my, you know, my intuitive, I would say, gift of just knowing people, like what they need help with on Reiki and their chakras. So we ground the whole course in chakra work. So every week has designated chakras that we focus on. And then Kara, which she's certified in meditation, led us through beautiful meditations that are guided. And we have journal prompts and, you know, tools that you can tap into. And it helps you find, you know, your non-negotiables and things that you can't go your day without. So whether that's writing gratitude lists or energy clearing or cord cutting or all these different tools that you have within you, it's finding what works for your specific energy type, and really working with that, because we're all different. We're all going to have different experiences, as we are all different humans, and we're all different souls. So yeah, it will be available. It's available for anyone at this point. And we're just so excited, and it's been amazing.
Where, what's the website, and where are some other places that people can find Soulbound and, you know, be very accessible to it?
So you can go to boundlesscreatives.com, where you can explore our consulting offerings for individuals, small business, corporations. You can explore our coaching, and then you can explore working on Soulbound in a passive capacity right now. We are most likely going to relaunch in the future another live version, because again, like we were talking about before, people crave that connection, that one-on-one connection to a community. So we're hoping to relaunch again, just because, yeah, they're already wanting more. So you can head to boundlesscreatives.com. You can follow us at Boundless Creatives on Instagram, and also give at well_bound. Is it, Alyssa? For our it's a new business that we're launching in hopefully by the end of the year. And it's all aligned with our passion for wellness and spirituality and exploring different wellness destinations. Even though we all have the tools within, we all crave that outer world support sometimes. So give at Wellbound a follow as well. And then you can find me personally at Boundless by Kara, and I'll have Alyssa chime in with her personal.
And my Instagram's Alyssa Brieloff. And yeah, we're so excited about all the things that we're doing and where we're going, because it's always scary when you're on a new path, but it's also like the most rewarding thing that you can do is find out what you're supposed to be doing, and just go with it and trust that you're on the right path.
We are so lit up by this work. So just like being in the container, working with us and connecting with our community, our goal is that you'll feel lit as well. Sober.
I love that. Sober, lit. I know. Well, I was loving your water in your wine glass. I also drink water in a wine glass just to feel a little Sex in the City, a little Carrie Bradshaw, cute, but very healthy. I love that everyone can follow you guys on your personal journeys, your boundless creative journey, your well-bound journeys, all of the places, and that they can do the course on Soulbound and then also get more information. Can they subscribe on your website to get like more information when your like live course comes back?
Yeah, there's a subscription box right when we pop right on the page, a promotional pop-up. So you can subscribe. You just head over to boundlesscreatives.com. And we actually just launched our very first conscious capsule collection with Water and Bird as well, which is a spiritual meets sustainable ceremonial hat brand that aligns so seamlessly with our mission and aesthetic. And we're excited to launch more of these high vibe products, which will be available on wellbound.co in the coming months. So that's our first capsule collection that's also promoted on boundlesscreatives.com as well. So we wear a lot of different hats. Pun 100% intended.
Well, I very much vibe with that. I high vibe with the wearing lots of hats and making them purpose driven and conscious driven. And I saw the collection with Waterbird. I'm definitely getting a hat. That aligns seamlessly with me. And I was just like,
you
wow.
need one.
They
have crystals on them, and then you have tie-dye indigo. Yeah. They're just beautiful.
Connect with your crown chakra.
Absolutely need. So when I meditate, I often lay down and, put crystals where they need to go. And I have this one, I can't remember the name of it. It looks like a smoky quartz, but it's not. But it helps with astral traveling. And so I put it on my third eye every time I'm laying down. And I was like, I want to wear this like all the time, And so I was looking stuff up and I thought, they make there's people on Etsy that make the kind of like crowns or like headbands, but that's just like not really my style. And I saw your hat and I was like, oh, I'm getting it.
The channel is calling your name. That's exactly why we created it, to have crystals connecting to our crown chakra, our higher self, our third eye, all about it.
Oh, I'm going to start crying. It's good. Well, just to end here, my human design is manifesting generator. And specific in what's the
specific manifestation? You're a specific manifester?
Yeah, but it's
defined.
I have a defined sacral.
Oh, you have a defined sacral. Okay.
Yeah. And
you go with your gut.
Oh my gosh, on absolutely everything. It's where my most beautiful things happen and where I carry all of my trauma and energy. So it's like absolutely everything happens there. And I have an open mind.
Crown. Oh, Anja. Yeah.
So that has been an interesting thing for me to realize, where it's like energy or ideas and information very freely flows into my mind. I'm very accepting of new ideas and all this stuff. But because it's not defined, I can get a little confused as to what is mine or what I believe in and where I stand. And so aligning that with my gut instead of having them cut off from each other has been very important for me to like live my purpose and have my energy kind of flowing in the right directions, because I was always seeing, as a manifesting generator, I realized I was manifesting stuff. I didn't really realize that when it came from an outward perspective, like even if I was manifesting it, right? If someone else brought the idea to me and I hopped at the opportunity, as I always do, I took it on as my own every single time, even when it didn't serve me, even when I didn't want that to be something I was pushing forward. And until I was conscious of those things, aware of them, and understanding of that nature, I couldn't put it into practice because I wasn't even aware of it. I knew enough about myself. I've been self-aware. Like that's one of my saving graces, is that I've been a very self-aware person, but I just didn't know how to put it into action. And so human design, my friend Maura is certified in human design. She has a company called Frequency by Maura, and she did my human design chart. And that was like another piece of this like spiritual puzzle that really like put things in perspective for me in such a digestible way that I could execute on that part of myself. You know,
Human
sometimes
design is the best.
oh,
I feel like everyone
really
should know their type.
too.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
if you don't know your type, I highly suggest just going to like My Body Graph, I think the website is, and just searching it, or Jenna Zhou has a good one. It changed my life knowing my type and what I'm supposed to be doing with it.
It
Yeah.
also really calls into play the really analytical parts of our mind and the energy work. Like it puts it in a very digestible form, and everyone now wants to be able to like marry the spiritual with the scientific. And I think it kind of gives you that in a way that is like, I got it. Great. I love it. There's a map of my body. That makes sense. That makes sense. I could see it. I could feel it. And now I can call myself something. You know, sometimes when you're doing,
People need labels.
oh, they do. I mean, unfortunately they do. And it's like, you know, I'm all about like breaking that stuff down, but I have to also remember to like live in the moment in time that my body is existing at the moment. That is something very difficult for me. And, you know, work within these structures and these boundaries to kind of bring forth the new age and the new information and all of these things. You know, like people do like labels and they like graphs and they like to see stuff in a very, you know, condensed way. And I think human design does that very, you know, seamlessly.
They're all guiding
And
us.
I think once you go on this spiritual journey and this self-discovery, you help others to become more in aligned. You're just like, it's this circle, it's this boundless, right? This limitless infinity circle of just getting more in line with yourself, and then showing people that they can do that too, and allowing you to be this like mirror for them.
Yeah, it's a halo effect. That's just like another layer of being boundless. It's just like when you really harness your own purpose and your true divine path, you help others and then bring that boundless impact to the masses.
Oh, beautiful, amazing. I like can't even believe we only have an hour. We're going to have to do part 2 of this. I mean,
oh, we would love that.
Yeah,
we can talk for hours about this stuff.
You know, one of the things I also have the gift of gab, so I can talk forever as well. And I tend to find people that, you know, say yes to the podcast and are excited about it as well. But there are definitely times when I'm having to move the conversation along, which is also not, people don't come to the podcast just to listen to me. They're coming for the guest of that week, you know? So sometimes I'm like, you know, a little bit pulling at straws there, but I read both of your Sagittarius North Node, and it said one of the attributes is direct communication, free from censorship. They have the gift of gab. And I was like, great, this is going to be easy.
Well, we're both Gemini South nodes too.
Yeah.
So we have that communication in our back pocket and like in our soul DNA, if you will.
Well, I love it. And I can't wait for people to find Boundless Creatives, find Soulbound, find Kara and Alyssa, find Hippie in the City, and tune back in for part 2 whenever we reconvene.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
This was so soul nourishing on so many different levels. Like, what a way to kickstart our day. Thank you so, so much. And we hope to connect again soon.
If you love our podcast as much as we love you, please subscribe. Spotify, you can hit the follow button, and on Apple Podcasts, you can click the 3 dots on the right and click subscribe. Because numbers matter, people. We live in the Matrix. Also, if you'd like to support us so we can aim to run ad-free episodes, go to anchor.fm/l-army/support. That's anchor.fm/ELLE-ARMY/SUPPORT. Peace and love.